Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, IndiGo questioned for alleged simulator training errors. Video shows on-duty Southwest pilot failing 2 sobriety tests. Air India flamed for overflying its pilots. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for over 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. IndiGo questioned for alleged simulator training errors. India's primary aviation regulator, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, is forcing IndiGo to the stand after learning that up to 1,700 of its pilots may have conducted training in unapproved flight simulators. The airline has 2 weeks to respond. The regulator says the lapses involve training for critical airfield operations at airports that demand extra preparation due to terrain, runway layout, or other unique challenges. DGCA's investigation found that several of IndiGo's full flight sims lacked the proper qualifications. The issue wasn't isolated either. 20 different simulators at facilities across Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, Greater Noida, Gurugram, and Bengaluru were flagged. Under Indian aviation rules, Category C airport training requires certified devices that realistically replicate the specific conditions at those airfields. IndiGo's Director of Training was responsible for ensuring the standard was met and didn't. The regulator's show cause notice gives IndiGo 14 days to respond, making it clear that failing to reply will result in ex parte action under the aircraft rules. In plain terms, if IndiGo doesn't have an explanation, the DGCA will move forward without it. The scope of the issue is hard to miss. Nearly 1,700 pilots, captains, and first officers may have been checked out on demanding airports using equipment that regulators say doesn't do the job. After the break, Spartan acquires Westinghouse J-34 from Hollywood.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated. An even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Spartan acquires Westinghouse J-34 from Hollywood. The Los Angeles campus of Spartan College of Aeronautics and Technology recently received a special piece of aviation equipment, a Westinghouse J-34 turbojet engine with a past. It has been used as a prop and for special effects on movie sets. The engine was acquired from Steve Bolin, professional stuntman and aviation coordinator who flew airplanes in movies. And now, after being used in movie productions, it's serving a new purpose, to train the next generation of aviation maintenance technicians at Spartan with hands-on experiences for more realism in the shop. ICAO warns of increased accident and fatality rates. While aviation may be the safest form of travel, a recent report from the International Civil Aviation Organization shows just how much room for improvement there is. It pointed out the need to keep safety a top priority as both accident rates and air traffic congestion continue to rise. The 2025 edition safety report logged 95 accidents involving scheduled commercial flights worldwide in 2024, compared to 66 the year before. 10 of those accidents were fatal, with 296 deaths reported, representing over 4 times the 72 fatalities in 2023. Mesa standing strong with its post-merger fleet. Mesa Air Group has officially finished its transition from Bombardier CRJ flying to an all-Embraer E-175 fleet, with its last CRJ crews completing E-Jet training this month. The move fulfills United Airlines' request, first announced in October 2024, to have Mesa operating only E-175s by March 2025. Mesa ran a little behind schedule, but with the final 160 pilots trained, the E-Jets now make up the company's entire flying operation. The fleet currently includes 57 active E-175s, with 3 temporarily out of service. New Hampshire school joins the fight against the ATC shortage. On August 11th, a New Hampshire community college became the 5th school to join the FAA's Enhanced Air Traffic Collegiate Training Initiative in 2025. This marks the state's first program to be approved for the curriculum. Instead of having to move to Oklahoma City and complete ATC training at the academy, enhanced AT-CTI programs allow students to work through a 3-month course from home with their local professors. After graduation, qualified students could be placed straight into FAA facilities or apply to work in federal contract towers. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Video shows on-duty Southwest pilot failing 2 sobriety tests. Body cam footage was recently pulled from the arrest of David Alsop, a 52-year-old Southwest pilot who recently learned just how seriously sobriety laws are taken when it comes to bringing hundreds of people into the sky. He failed 2 sobriety tests before being arrested and having his license revoked. The body cam footage shows police escorting David Alsop off a plane in Savannah, Georgia, where he was preparing to fly passengers to Chicago. Authorities say they were tipped off by someone who suspected the pilot had been drinking. In the footage, officers question Alsop in the jet bridge, where he admits to having a few beers the night before but insists it had been at least 10 hours since his last drink. Police said they smelled alcohol, though Alsop claimed the odor came from nicotine gum. He initially resisted taking field sobriety tests but ultimately agreed, and proceeded to fail 2 of the 3 tests administered in the jetway, according to police reports. He also refused a breathalyzer before officers placed him in handcuffs and escorted him to a patrol car. The FAA has since revoked Alsop's pilot license, and criminal charges are still pending. Southwest Airlines confirmed that the pilot was immediately removed from duty following the incident. The airline has not released further comment. After these messages, Air India flamed for overflying its pilots.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, 2-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low-maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
Welcome back. Air India flamed for overflying its pilots. India's aviation regulator has issued a warning to its flagship airline after it allegedly exceeded the 10-hour pilot flight time limit at least twice. The show cause was sent in June, and seems Air India's explanation didn't do the trick. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation said the violations occurred on Bengaluru to London services AI-133 on May 16th and 17th, 2025, and were uncovered during a spot check. According to DGCA regulations, pilots cannot exceed 10 hours of flight time in a duty period under the civil aviation requirement. Air India, however, attributed the overrun to a different interpretation of a special exemption granted during Pakistan's airspace closure, which required rerouting of flights. The airline said once the correct interpretation was clarified, scheduling practices were adjusted, and it remains fully compliant with the rules. The DGCA was not convinced. A show cause notice was sent to Air India on June 20th, asking for an explanation. After reviewing the airline's reply, regulators found the response unsatisfactory and said the explanation failed to adequately address the regulatory lapses. In an August 11th letter, the DGCA issued a formal warning to CEO Campbell Wilson, stating that he must exercise, quote, utmost diligence and responsibility, end quote, in ensuring compliance. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.